They're not in harmony. Do we have Zen now? Yeah, no. All right. The truth is that I believe that there's a lot of stuff going on fighting against a sense of unity within the church and outside of the church. Even when it comes down to, say, like organizations that people are a part of. How many things used to be, say in the 50s, how many clubs, name me some clubs that were around in the 50s, 60s, 70s. What were some clubs? Kiwanis. Cool. Anything else? The Lions Club. Yep. The Order of Moose. Cool. Boys and Girl Scouts. Good. Pardon? Scouts Canada was huge, right? It's still around. Definitely still around. Pardon? Masons. Okay, yeah. Any other clubs that were around? The Cadets. Now, do we see the rise or the fall of groups? The fall, right? It's really depleting, isn't it? And it was kind of interesting. I was looking through some of this, and Robert Putnam, he actually wrote a book on it, and it was called Bowling Alone. Now, I know there's actually been a rise in bowling over the years, right? And I even know that a lot of our people like to go bowling together, which is awesome. But the reality of it is that he documents there's a decline in community life over the last 8 decades, this sense of wanting to do things together. Whoops. He talks about how his title from this, Trivial Yet Telling Example, says the percentage of adults who belong to a bowling league today is only about a quarter of what it was in the 60s. Now, some of you are a part of bowling clubs. Have you noticed that bowling clubs are depleting? Yeah. It may just be because bowling is not for everybody. So let's take a look at some other things. The percentage of people who volunteer in political campaigns, stuffing envelopes, making phone calls, going door to door, is today about half what it was in the 1960s. Half. Half of the people are volunteering to help out in political campaigns. Active membership in local clubs and organizations, like the PTA and others, is half of what it was in the 70s. And then if you want to fill in the blanks, people are visiting one another less frequently, having friends over less frequently. I don't know if you've noticed that even too in your own home. Do you remember that, like, say, your grandparents' house? Was there more people over or less people over? Like, truly, you feel that? Yeah, I totally feel that. I remember the sense of camping. Camping. Every summer, we went to Pleasant Bay Camp. Every summer, even though they wouldn't let me ride my bike on Sundays, they wouldn't let me wear jeans on Sundays, they wouldn't let me talk on Sundays. We always went to Pleasant Bay Camp, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Pleasant Bay Camp was where my grandparents went to camp, and my grandfather eventually became the site superintendent of Pleasant Bay Camp in Trenton. And I remember going to their house, going to their trailer, and there was always someone there. Always someone there. And now my parents are the grandparents. I go to my parents' house, I'm not seeing the same tendencies. I'm not even seeing the same desire to want to go to the same place every summer. There is definitely a decline in people wanting to get connected with each other. In short, according to Putnam, every objective measurement of participation in community is declining. So I want to ask you the question, why? Why is the sense of community declining in our society? Okay, so computers and technology. How does computers and technology make us not want to hang out with each other? Pardon? You're alone. You're on the internet and you're alone. Okay. People communicate through the internet, so maybe there's a different form of community. Okay. What are some other reasons why we are losing the sense of community today? Definitely. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's an interesting way of looking at it. That's being alone in our home, maybe, right? In our home specifically or in our car, gives us a greater sense of security because of all the untrust, maybe. I don't know if that's a word, but the lack thereof of trust for others. Okay. The enemy, too. Yeah. Wow. So even as we spend more time away from others, we are constantly teaching ourselves how to even not really know how to connect with others. Right. I'm guilty. Yeah. Or now even texts, right? And it's great because I even have groups of texts now, right? So I can go to like Agora group. I could send out one text and I've connected with 8 people. I like too, you're saying the enemy. So how is the enemy really drawn into our lack of community? Pardon? He creates division. Very much so. I would say even boldly enough that anything that separates us from each other and from God essentially has its root in sin. Because, sorry. You're right. Yeah. Yep. Yep. I could see that too, Diane. Yep. Bill? Strong point. Yeah, Putnam says that actually in his book. He says that because of multiple parents working, right? Now, typically we see a lot of women working in the workplace. A lot of strengths to that, maybe some weaknesses to that too, right? Mm-hmm. Any other reasons why? Yeah. Lack of interest. Lack of interest in each other. That's being honest. That's true. What did I hear over there? No absolutes. So even truths and even finding commonality between everybody is maybe even harder nowadays. That's good.